So here is Lee at TerraNova, and we are competing in the 4-star short. So just working on getting him kind of on my aids around the ring. And I like to do a nice kind of 10-meter circle right before I get in, just to make sure we're all set.
There you go.
And then down the center line. It is quite warm there on this day. He's nice and straight, and then coming in for the halt. Ah, good boy. Stepped up nice and square. He's gotten much stronger with the transition down to the halt this season. Now, the right lead is the stronger lead versus the left lead, so that is why I make that choice to come in on that lead down the center line. So into our shoulder in, which the right-handed shoulder in is the weakest for him, but you saw we got a little wobbly, but then going into the medium trot. Making sure I show a difference and going into my corner. And then shoulder in on the left, which is much more consistent. And then I have to make sure we're straight and going into the medium trot. Making sure I show the transition works. Unfortunately, you can't see that corner just based on where the camera is. And then across the diagonal for the extended trot. It's always kind of hard to see from the hind end, but you want kind of maximum extension. And probably if I'm being picky with myself, I want to have the transition at the letter. Sometimes I might miss it and be a little late and get it in the corner. But going into the half passes, now Lee's half passes are very nice. He's quite a Gumby type horse, so he likes this exercise. That was a really nice change in transition for him. And into the walk. Now he's a smart horse, so sometimes he thinks he knows the test, but he's gotten much better at staying on my aids. But sometimes the walk can get a little tight. We're working on our travers there. It's fine, it's maybe a little big. And sometimes he anticipates going into the canter because that is hard for him. So I always have to make sure and tell him, no, we're just walking. Good boy. We're not going into the canter. Because now we go in the extended walk, which he has quite a nice extended walk. I tend to make up some scores. You see, he really takes the contact. Been working really hard on getting his nose to go down and out. And then working back up to then prepare for our canter transition. You can't see me in the corner. There I am. And off in the canter. So still a little weak, but that will get better and better. At least I was pleased that he didn't hollow, so I was really happy with that transition. And then you go directly into a medium canter. And then your half pass. This test works actually really well for Lee, just because it works on doing your lateral work, then going straight, and it really prepares him for the changes. So now we're going to go across a short diagonal here. Flying change over X. Very good boy. And he just needs to have maybe a little bit more jump. He was feeling not necessarily flat, but he's doing all the things for me. Now into the half pass again. And then make sure I stay straight and go forward in the canter. I was very pleased with how obedient he was. And now preparing for the last change. Very good boy. He's allowed me to be very accurate. And now coming down the center line. I was super pleased with this test. He put down another solid test. A little abrupt in the halts, bless him. But overall, was very happy with the performance he gave me. Very, very pleased. So now on to cross country at TerraNova. Now this is a brand new event for us. So, getting to know the ground and how things are going to ride are all really, really important. You can see Lee's getting a little excited. The course was designed by Captain Mark Phillips. And so there were a couple of tough combinations out there on course. The time was riding really, really tight. So I wanted to make sure I was nice and tidy with Lee. He is a quick horse. So making sure I kind of have really nice lines into my combinations and not wasting any time. He jumps that really nice bench. And sometimes it's very easy to kind of just sit along in the water, but I kind of pressed him up to go. And he's the type of horse that would prefer to kind of put in the pat step than take off long. Jumps into the water nicely. Balance up for this bounce out. Absolutely no problem. Very easy for him. He really was feeling just on it that day, like was just chomping at the bit and having fun out there. So was feeling really good. Coming to this tricaner here with the ditch underneath it. This pings right over that. Now what we missed in this view was there was a corner-to-corner combination that was riding a bit difficult, and he just made it feel so easy. And coming to this table, was able to find that right out of stride, so that saves me time. And then the ditch and wall, which again I saw a bit of the flyer to it, and he said, "Yeah, no, let me pat in." Now he also did pull a shoe. So more than likely that's why he wants to get a little closer, because the shoe went flying around fence number 16, I think it was. But he's feeling good. He's jumping very well. And now you'll see I'm coming to this combination very vertical, and I can just sit up and he comes right back into collection. I'm not having to take a tug. I just use my body. Jumps that lovely. And now coming back through, that was another little house type thing. And I know I'm pretty close up on time, and again, kind of missed the combination there with the camera crew. But there was a oxer to a really tough corner that I wasn't quite sure about the line on, but there was a long option. And, I just decided to take the long option. I prefer to have a nice, solid qualifying round, which we need what are called MERs, and they're like mandatory requirements to have certain qualifications for certain events. Like for Kentucky, you have to have a certain number of qualifications to make it. So I really wanted to have a nice solid go and not just have a little flub up. But funny enough, you got to see a little bit of a chip on my part at the second to last fence there. But he felt amazing around this course. He jumped around. We got in pretty close to the time, which helped us move up. And he felt great for his jog up the next day, even pulling a shoe. And so now going into the show jump. The show jump was proving to be very, very difficult. There was 4 and 5 rails that were coming down for people that were on good show jumping horses. So going into this, I was actually quite curious to see how he was going to feel, especially with the atmosphere of TerraNova. They're doing a really good job here of putting on a fantastic event to have that type of exposure. And for Lee, he had some confidence issues back at the American Eventing Championships. And then he did well at Stableview, but so this was kind of the next round to see. We've been doing some homework at home, and he felt quite relaxed coming into the round. So I worked in making sure I had him on my aids, and then going to the first fence, he jumped it. I said, okay, he's feeling pretty good. And he jumped that quite well. So making sure I go inside that bush thingy there to make sure I stay up on the time. And this line was actually really hard with those flags. Kind of distracted the horses a little bit. So he kind of tapped the rail, but still kept it up. He was good because I got to the deep one. And I changed my plan here because I actually had planned on doing 6. And instead I had done 7. But it worked out just fine because that rail was coming down a lot. And then we just barely touched that liver bowl. That was just such a shame. And he just caught the out. I just don't even think he saw it, really. And then I thought, okay, come on, Lily. We've got the rest of the course to do. Since we had 2 down, kind of like back to back, I didn't want him to get worried. And then coming to this final combination, and then I was able to kind of squeak it in by going back to the left because I saw I had the deep, but he was super. Ended up with just the 2 rails, but that in fact helped us go into 5th. And I was really, really proud with, finishing up in the top 5 isn't too shabby in the 4-star short. And now we are qualified for the Kentucky 5-star in the spring. So couldn't be happier.
There is your winner of the 4-star, winning that $5,775. Leslie Law from Great Britain. Riding Steve and Jackie Brown, so Lady Chatterley at 41.9. Sarah Rosamond Murphy from the United States. Leslie Law took 3rd place honors with Greg McCallum's Typically Burnhill.
Woo, Lily!